Today I'm going to talk about why you're tired all the time. And I know everybody has health issues. I know that everybody feels like they're getting older. I'm getting older too. I'm 45. And we tend to think that being tired all the time is just this normal part of aging. But today I'm going to tell you about the real reasons why you're feeling tired, especially if you are carrying extra weight. So if you have belly fat, there is an underlying root cause that's causing you to hold on to that belly fat and also for you to be tired. And it's not because you're old, it's because of your metabolism. So let's get started. Just going to share my screen. Oops. Sorry about that. That's taking me a little longer than I wanted it to. Oops. Okay. So, why you're so tired all the time and how to fix it without more coffee. I'm going to talk to you about why you're tired all the time, the root cause, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about four things that you can do to fix it, okay? And some of the things that you are actually doing that are wrecking your energy. So, why you're always tired? It's not just because you're getting older. This isn't about being lazy. It's actually a metabolism problem and it's fixable. Okay. So you need to understand that. It's not, if you're falling asleep on the couch, if you're just sitting down in the evening after you have dinner and you're falling asleep on the couch, it has less to do with the fact that, you're lazy and you don't want to exercise and more to do with the fact that your metabolism is messed up. So the real reason you are exhausted is male metabolic dysfunction. And this is basically just metabolic dysfunction, but let's call it male metabolic dysfunction and let's give it the name MMD because it's easy to remember. You guys can just say, I have MMD, okay? Male metabolic dysfunction. Your metabolism is not working properly. If you feel tired all the time, it's actually your body giving you a sign that something inside of you is not working right. And I'm going to tell you why that's your metabolism. Okay. So, why you should listen to me, just quickly, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm an expert in weight loss and nutrition for men over 40. And my approach is simple and sustainable. You've probably done all kinds of other programs. They're complicated. There's complicated meal plans, there's complicated working out. My approach is simple and it's sustainable. Anybody can do it. You don't even need a meal plan. You just need my direction. Okay. I've helped hundreds of men take control of their health, lose weight, and keep it off. And these are guys who are busy. These are guys who don't know how to cook at all. These are guys who never turn on a stove once when they were working with me. There's no calorie counting. There's no extreme exercise. There's no complicated meal plans. You can do what I teach you to do just with basic instruction from me. Okay. And who am I and why do I care about men? I have two sons and I have a husband. I obviously have tons of men in my life, fathers, grandfathers. Well, actually, my grandfathers are all dead, but they would have been very old right now if they were still alive. But I have a lot of men in my life and I care about men. I see men everywhere struggling and really trying to take control of their health and they just don't know what they need to do. They don't know how to do it. And so I really want to, level the playing field for you guys and give you the information that you need so that you can be successful. And this guy's the reason why I work with men over 40 specifically. I've been a holistic nutritionist for a long time, but this is my best friend, David. And I helped him lose weight and get control of his own metabolism and his health about I guess it's been about 5 or 6 years ago now, and he really encouraged me and pushed me to create a programs and create protocols and create strategies that work for men over 40 because there just isn't enough information out there for you guys that actually works. So what is MMD? What is male metabolic dysfunction? Your metabolism its job is to convert food into energy. Okay. And when that system starts to fail, which often happens after you hit 40, you probably notice you get a little bit of a pudgy stomach, your belly starts growing. So after 40, that system, your metabolism starts to fail you and you get male metabolic dysfunction, you get MMD. So why does the system start to fail? It starts to fail because of something called insulin resistance. And I don't want to bombard you guys with too much science, but this is really, really important to understand because your metabolism being slow, and so many guys I talk to, they're like, my metabolism's just really slow. It's just not working. That means you have insulin resistance. Okay. So you need to kind of understand what that means. If you have belly fat, you have insulin resistance. So I'm going to try to explain it to you in an easy way. Imagine your body is like a campfire. Okay, so here's the fire, right? Your body is like a campfire and you're tossing kindling on it all day. You're eating carbs. So carbs are kindling. But the logs, which is your fat, like all that extra fat that you're carrying, never actually catch fire because your metabolism isn't working right. Okay, so I hope you understand that. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just put doesn't make sense, Trina, in the comments, and I will explain it to you better. But here are some signs that your metabolism is not working because you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, like I don't think my metabolism is working well. I can't lose this weight, but here are some signs that your metabolism isn't working. And a lot of these signs are to do with you not having a lot of energy. So if you wake up tired, even after you slept 7 or 8 hours, if you're getting afternoon crashes, like you need a 3 p.m. snack, you need caffeine, or you need a nap, if you've got low motivation or brain fog, if you've got cravings for sugar or carbs, if you're not sleeping well, even when you're completely exhausted, and if you have belly fat that will not budge, those are signs that your metabolism is not working well. Okay. So it's not just that, I'm getting old or just, I love sweets in the afternoon. I just need my coffee and my cookie or donut. No, it actually means your metabolism's not working. So all of these things are symptoms. Okay. You need to understand that the hidden energy thief is insulin resistance. So if you look at this guy in this picture, pretend he's insulin and he's a delivery guy and he's got this box full of glucose. So it's insulin's job, it's that guy's job to move sugar or glucose into your cells so that you have energy, so that you feel good, so that you're not tired all the time. And basically, insulin resistance means that your cells are not responding to insulin, or we can put it this way, insulin, this delivery guy is knocking on the door with the glucose and nobody's answering. Okay. And that nobody is, that's like me when I hear people knocking on the door when I'm trying to make dinner, I don't answer. But anyway, um, this guy insulin, this delivery guy is trying to bring glucose to your cells so your cells can then use them to give you energy, but nobody's opening the door to let him in. Okay. And that equals low energy. That is why you have low energy. So your cells are not able to convert the food into energy effectively, which means you feel tired. Maybe you're falling asleep at your desk in the afternoon. Okay. Maybe you are reaching for that coffee and you don't have energy to work out. All right. A lot of guys, when I start working with them, they don't have a lot of energy. They're like, Trina, I cannot go to the gym 4 days a week. I'm too tired. And that's okay. You don't have to start by going to the gym. Okay. But the reality is that if you're tired and you do not fix your metabolism, this is how you're going to end up every night. This is probably how you guys are ending up. You're exhausted, you're tired, you have no energy, and you end up sitting down on the couch after your day at work or whatever you're doing. Or, I talked to a guy last week and he said, he's like, I'm fine. Like I'm going, I'm doing what I need to do. But then as soon as I sit down, I fall asleep. Okay. That's not normal. It doesn't matter if you're in your 40s, it doesn't matter if you're in your 50s or even in your 60s. It's not normal to be tired all the time. It means something is going on with your body. It means that your metabolism is not working the way it should. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some examples of what you're doing that is zapping your energy. So here are some energy sucking habits that you should stop doing. If you're starting the day with cereal, toast, or oatmeal, it's sucking up your energy. Okay. It's not going to give you stable, steady energy for the rest of the day. If you're doing too much fasting, you can think about trying to drive a car when it has almost no gas. You're running on fumes. Okay. You need to stop fasting too much, especially if you're just, I know intermittent fasting is this big thing and everybody wants to intermittent fast, but when you are trying to fix your metabolism, when you're trying to get started on losing weight and really sticking to something, I always find that too much fasting does not help my clients. Okay. Relying on sugar and caffeine is sucking your energy. Not drinking enough water. And I know that's a basic one, but not drinking enough water is also sucking your energy. And then eating heavy carb. I have dinners here, but dinners, lunches, breakfast, no matter what, if you're eating really, really heavy carb meals, that's also going to suck your energy. You're going to have energy right after you eat it, and then you are going to crash. Okay. So let's talk about how we can fix this stuff. Fix number one is to eat a real breakfast. This can change your whole day. I don't know how to emphasize this enough. This is the first place I start when I start working with people is we fix their breakfast, okay? Eat a real breakfast. Your cravings will drop. Your energy will be more stable. You're just going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. So if what you're eating right now, if you feel tired after breakfast, if you feel like you're getting cravings in the middle of the morning, even if that is a quote unquote healthy breakfast, you need to maybe change it. For me, for a long time, I was having smoothies for breakfast, and then it didn't really do it for me anymore. I was having crashes in the morning. I wasn't having sustainable energy in the morning. And so I changed it. Now I eat leftovers for breakfast. So you have to work with your body. You have to figure out what works for you. And sometimes you can actually be doing everything right, quote unquote, and you're eating healthy food and your energy still might not be that great. And that's when you probably need some help figuring out what else is going on. Okay. But your energy will be more stable if you eat a proper breakfast. So don't eat dessert for breakfast. Muffins, cereal, bagels, toast with jam, pancakes, waffles. Do not eat that stuff for breakfast. Okay. Fix number two is don't skip meals. Eat 3 solid meals every day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like 7 a.m. you have breakfast, but eat 3 solid meals every day. Pick 8 to 10 hours during the day and eat 3 meals inside of those 8 to 10 hours. Prioritize real food, not snacks. Don't eat snacks. If you're eating 3 solid meals a day, you really should not need snacks. You shouldn't be feeling hungry between meals. And understand that consistency balances blood sugar and improves energy. Okay, so be consistent. I know it's harder than it sounds, but do it. So fix number 3 is hydrate. You guys will have heard this a million times. Water equals energy, plain and simple. You can't get around that. Aim for 2.5 to 3 liters daily, or around 120 ounces or a little bit more if you're in the US. You can also think about maybe adding an electrolyte powder to your water. That can sometimes really help with energy too. And then use the pee test. Aim for light yellow urine. When you go pee, especially if it's in a white toilet, which most toilets are, the color of your urine should be light yellow. So if you're dehydrated, you're going to feel sluggish. You're going to have sluggish blood flow. You're going to have low energy. And that also crosses over into the bedroom. If you are not hydrated, your penis is not on like some separate system. It's got the same blood flow as the rest of your body. If you're dehydrated, sometimes, that stuff isn't going to be working well either. So here's just a quick chart of the urine color. You can see here on the right, that dark yellow, if that's the color of your urine, it means you're pretty dehydrated. You want it to be closer to this other side here, okay, where it's lighter yellow. Fix number 4 is balance your blood sugar. And this is what I teach my clients. This is the basis of dealing with the root cause of your weight. Every single meal needs to have protein. It needs to have fat, it needs to have fiber, it needs to have smart carbs. And you want to, and I'll show you in a minute what that looks like, but you need to avoid ultra processed foods that are sugary. That are sugary. It's really, really important because sugary foods and ultra processed foods will cause your blood sugar to be out of balance. And you need to try to add color and variety with veggies and healthy fat. So things like avocados and nuts. And, nutritionists always say eat the rainbow, add color to your diet, eat lots of green vegetables and red, yellow, purple, all of the different colors. So this is what it looks like to combine protein, fat, fiber, and carbohydrates or smart carbs at every single meal. We have protein sources like eggs, meat, fish, fats, coconut oil, nuts, olive oil, chia seeds, avocado, just plain old coconut. Then you have carbs, and smart carbs or healthy carbs are things like sweet potato or corn in moderation, and all of these green leafy vegetables and things like peppers. Those are all carbs that are awesome. Okay, those are smart carbs. So you want to try to get half a plate of vegetables and healthy carbs at every meal. And then you want fiber, and fiber, you can get that from vegetables too. So make sure you're combining all that stuff together. And the good news is really that you don't have to starve yourself. You need to eat strategically. And a lot of the time, my clients are eating too little when they come to me. And I'll just tell you a quick story about somebody that I've been working with for the last 5 weeks. They came to me and they said, I have hernia surgery on the 9th of April, and I need to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks. And that's not an easy thing to do, but this person has pretty close to done it. But when he started working with me, he sent me pictures of his food, and I often get people to do that. I get them to send me pictures of their plates, and his plates look pretty good. But then when I asked him how big is that plate, it became clear that he was eating portion sizes that fit onto a side plate. So he needed to actually eat a lot more food for his weight to start moving. He had lost 20 pounds on him, by himself, and he needed to lose this other 20 pounds. And what had happened was he wasn't eating enough. So yeah, he needed to eat the right things. Yes, he needed a proper strategy to get this weight off before his surgery, but he wasn't eating enough. Okay. So please do not starve yourself. It's really, really important not to starve yourself. It's really important if you've been dieting for a long time and you lost a bunch of weight, but now you're completely plateaued, to get some help so that you can figure out how much you need to eat, so that you can fix how much you're eating so that the weight can start coming off. Again, you need to eat strategically. Okay. And please understand, tired is not your identity or just part of getting older. It isn't. I know you guys also have a lot of health problems, so it can be hard. If you have back problems, if you have neck problems, if you have other health issues, that can lead to you being tired. But the bottom line is that if you are carrying around this extra weight, you do have some level of insulin resistance and some level of metabolic dysfunction. So your metabolism is not working well, and you need to fix that. Low energy is a symptom. It's not your identity. So you can feel like yourself again. You just need the right fuel and the right consistency. And when I start working with people, that's usually one of the things that changes first, as long as there are not a lot of other underlying issues. But energy gets better, sleep gets better, not as tired, no afternoon crashes, not so many cravings, or maybe none at all, and just slowly people start feeling, guys start feeling like themselves again. Okay. So in a few months, in 3 or 4 months, you can really get back the energy and just have all this vitality you had when you were younger. It is possible, because really messed up metabolism equals low energy. There's no way around that. Okay. And, obviously in my program, the Belly Fat Fix, and when I work with private clients, we deal with these 4 things. We deal with muscle mass, we deal with hormones, metabolism, and inflammation. There's only one way to fix your metabolism. There is only one way, and it is by the food choices that you make. You can't get around that. You can only fix your metabolism with food. Okay. And the same goes for inflammation, hormones, and muscle mass. Muscle mass is a little bit different. You can gain muscle mass by working out, but you also need to make sure you're eating the right things. But when it comes to metabolism, you need to make the right food choices. You need to learn how to eat right. So that's what I help my clients do. And even if you've been tired for years, you can reverse male metabolic dysfunction, or MMD, as we're calling it today, and get your body and your energy back. So I'll give you another example. One of my clients right now, his name is PJ. When he came to me 5 months ago, he had, he still has diabetes, obviously, but he was on 13 medications, 13 or 14, I can't remember. He was on 13 or 14 different medications. He was on insulin and 3 different diabetes meds. His metabolism was an absolute mess. Okay. He was, I think, over 265 pounds. And this is 5 months later now. And I think his latest weigh in was around 213 pounds. And he's down to 3 medications from 14. So he has fixed his metabolic dysfunction. It's not perfect. It takes time, but he has so much more energy. He's way lighter on his feet. He's feeling much better. And his metabolism is starting to work the way that it should, the way that everybody's metabolism should. So please, you can be in a place where you think that you're going to be stuck there and you're going to be stuck on meds for the rest of your life. You're never going to be able to feel better. You're never going to be able to have more energy and feel like you did when you were a younger man. But you can. 100% you can. If you're willing to put in the work and you have the right advice and you have the right plan and you have accountability, you can get there. Okay. So getting your energy back and losing the weight for good, it's not about eating less. You guys need to understand that. It's about eating right. You need to learn how to eat right. You need to fix your metabolism, and then the energy will come back. So if any of that really hit home for you, I highly recommend booking a free Zoom consult with me. You can tell me a little bit about what's going on, how long you've been trying to lose weight, what your energy levels look like, how messed up you think your metabolism is, and I can help you figure out what your next best steps are. And like all the information that I provide, you can use it, you can get results on your own. But if you really want to fast track what you're doing so that you get results fast and you can stop sort of beating your head against the wall, I'm happy to either just talk to you about what you can do on your own or what the options are for working with me. And yeah, I hope that you will take the time and do that, because life's too short. And I was talking to that client, I was just talking about PJ earlier this week. And like he said, it's, you have to come to this point where you make a decision to actually make the change, because you guys can go and you can 100% find any information you need on the internet. You can find out how much protein you need to eat every day. You can find out, how many calories you need. You can find out what exercises work best. And the reality is that you can have all the information and you just might not get it done because a lot of people that I work with say that the main component is accountability. And if you are in your 50s and your 60s and you've been carrying around weight for a long time, if you have had metabolic dysfunction for a long time, and most of you guys have, that's the reality, then it's not a quick fix. And if you're looking for a quick fix, it's not going to work. So if you've been dieting and then you joined the gym and the scale hasn't gone anywhere for a month or for 3 weeks and you're starting to get discouraged, it doesn't mean that you're not doing some things right. It just means that your body is going to take time to heal. And sometimes there are invisible things that are going on with your body that you don't really understand that are causing your body to hold on to weight. So for example, one of my clients right now has fatty liver disease. And his weight really hasn't dropped a lot in the first 3 months that we've worked together. It's dropped only about 10 pounds. But there are other changes that he's seeing, right? We have to work on fixing his liver. We had to work on cleaning up his diet. We had to work on making sure he's getting enough calories. We have to work on all kinds of different things. So sometimes having somebody who can stand next to you and who can tell you that whatever's happening is normal, that yeah, the weight's not coming off that quickly, but it's normal. There are other invisible things going on inside your body that need to happen before your body will completely drop the weight is super important. And that's one of the main things that I do with my clients. I stand next to them. I'm part nutritionist, part cheerleader, part life coach, and just part friend, because I want you guys to know that no matter what situation you've gotten yourself into, maybe you're 100 pounds overweight, maybe you're 200 pounds overweight, maybe you have type 2 diabetes that's completely out of control, maybe you have fatty liver, maybe you got diagnosed with high cholesterol and high blood pressure and all these problems. And I want you to know that with the proper guidance and with the proper support, you can turn all of those things around 100%. Not only can you lose the weight, not only can you eventually look in the mirror and see, a younger, thinner, healthier version of yourself, but you can take control of your health, and I can teach you how to understand your body and what your body actually needs. And it's not complicated, and you don't have to use a meal plan even from the beginning, and you'll never have to use a meal plan going forward after you work with me. You're just going to understand how to eat and what to eat and when to eat so that you're going to get the results that you want. Okay. And I just want you to know that it's 100% possible. It does not matter what position you're in right now. I work with people who started working with me, they were 400 or over 400 pounds. And, it's a slow process. It's fixing your body, it's getting the results that you want eventually, and it's having somebody stand next to you who is an expert, who knows when you hit a plateau what we need to do next. And also just, maybe you hit a plateau because you're under a ton of stress. Maybe you gain back a couple pounds because you're under a ton of stress. And the reality is that's just your body. It's natural. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. So please take the time to reach out to me, book a call. Happy to chat about all this stuff. I know there are a couple people watching live. Hey Troy, hi Robert. Do you guys have any questions that I can answer now, or was that enough? Hmm. Okay, well, if there are no questions, then I think I will sign off. If you are watching this replay as a replay, please feel free to put comments or questions in the chat, and I will answer them. Facebook will send me a little message, and I can answer them for you later. Okay, but I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I will see a couple of you this weekend as well. So have a good day, and have a great weekend. And I will hopefully be back next week for another training or some other tidbit of information that can help you guys.